you have to remember that we are actors. We're not just talkers who sit sedately on chairs and talk to each other. I know that when you see the movies with Moreno, that he is very much in the center as a director. I've learned not to be. I think because he was a pioneer, I had to show people, and he was a showman. And he worked with very difficult patients, for whom he was a psychiatrist. His persona came through very powerfully, and his presence was very frequent. I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm a dramatist. And you know, once the play is rehearsed and ready, the director doesn't show up, or sits, but doesn't show up on the stage. That's how I feel about my psychodramas. Once I've got the scene more or less set, I try to keep out of it. I am also physically limited, which in a way is both good and bad. It's good because I'm not the center. It's bad because sometimes I like to be close to the protagonist and let them know I'm there, comforting them. But that I can't change. So my suggestion to the director, or any director who starts, is don't be the center of events. You just set the scene, capture the mood, get the warm-up going, turn it over to your protagonist and auxiliaries and guide them. That's number one. Don't start off by reading a piece of paper. Moreno always said if you're going to lecture, unless it's at a conference where the paper is going to be reviewed or recorded, discussed, speak from what you know. Don't worry if it's perfect. It allows you to express yourself more normally and spontaneously, and maybe you'll forget a point here and there, but you'll be more creative about what you do produce. Okay. The protagonist is the dramatist, not the director in that sense. The moment you have a protagonist, that person presents whoever is going to be role-playing, enacting a role for him. That's what we learned over the years to do. You couldn't do that with psychotic patients. Take the role of your grandmother. Show me what she's like. Not how is she. Show me who she is. How big is she? How tall is she? How old are you? What's your name? And talk to the protagonist in that role. That fixes the role in them and helps them to step away from their own problem, concern at the moment. I hear you have a lot of grandchildren, and today there will be one of them meeting you, who's been very eager to meet you again. And you'll have some interaction that didn't happen in life, or that should have happened and didn't, whatever. And I make clear that we see this, it's an image of this woman, that we understand her from the perception of the protagonist, not from the perception of the auxiliary ego, however well that auxiliary ego knows that person, because that's still the auxiliary ego's perception. We want the protagonist's perception. The protagonist is the center.